Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 10 for our PCNSA series. So as we have already covered about the configuration, what is the initial configuration, and we have already talked about the zones as well, right? So we'll start understanding the type of zones that we are having, the types of interface that we are having. So today we are going to start the interface type. So the first one is the tap interface. We'll understand what is tap interface, what is the need of it, how to configure, and I'll be doing a lab and I'll explaining you that how can we basically configure it, and I'll show you the demonstration of it as well. So I'll request you to please watch this video till then so that you can understand about the tap interface, and also you can use it during the interview questions or when you go for an examination, because in examination it might ask, and also it will be useful in the real world environments where we can use the tap interface. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. So friends, let's understand what is tap interface, right? With the help of this diagram, we'll understand more about it, okay? So maybe you might have heard about tapping a phone in some movies, right? So tapping a phone meaning that I'll be the listener, right? So I'll be the listener, I'll be listening what one person is talking to another person. So I cannot interrupt it, I cannot reply it, but I'll be in the listening mode. Same way, the tap interface or the meaning of tap is actually works the same way, okay? So in this case, what happens, if you see here, let's say just consider this is an internal network, okay? This is a switch, we have this firewall, okay, and this is connected towards our internet, right? Now what internal traffic is sending towards internet and what internet traffic is responding to the LAN, if I want to capture that particular information, I will configure these interface as a tap interface, okay? Now until and unless you configure a mirror port or a span port in the switch will not send you the traffic. Now how things will be working like this. So in the switch, you have to tell that you have to send all your traffic. If it is coming from here or it is coming from here, you send all the copies of the traffic towards this port number. And this tap interface of Palo Alto will listen to that particular traffic, okay? And it creates log of it. It creates report of it. So it create log of all the traffic, like it logs the traffic, and it also create a report of it, okay? So this is how the tap interface is, okay? Tap interface meaning that it listens the traffic, whatever that is communication that is happening from one network to another network, one host to another host, or the traffic going through one port to another port. If we configure a span port in the switch, you can basically listen what the traffic is flowing between one port to another port of the switch. Now the span port is very simple to configure. I'll show you how to do it in Cisco. We can do it in Juniper, we can do it in any switch. It is possible in any kind of switch, okay? So there is no problem in it. So if you're thinking like only Cisco device can does, no. A span port or mirror port can be configured in any of the devices, okay? So friends, we'll understand why we need a tap interface. What is the use of it, okay? So let's understand with the help of this particular image, okay? Now tap interface is basically listens the traffic, but it doesn't take any actions. So for an example, if you are a sales or you are working with a sales team, okay, now whenever the sales team goes to a company to sell their devices, if the company has a requirement that I need a firewall, okay, so if the sales team is approaching that particular company and company is saying, please show me your proof of concept, POC, sorry, it is POC, proof of concept. So what happens is the sales team will arrange a Palo Alto firewall or a device what he is trying to sell. He's arrange a demo device of it and he'll plug into the network and he will show you, he will basically show the capabilities of that particular device. Now for this, if you configure the device into tap mode, you are not changing anything in the network. Like in that particular company, you are not changing anything in their network. You are working or you have configured in a listens mode or in tap mode so that you can capture the traffic. And the way it captures the traffic, it understands that application, it understands what kind of traffic it is going from internal network to external network, okay, by seeing the logs, right? So it will show you the logs and will show you the reports. By seeing that particular information, the user will know the capabilities of the device and it accordingly will proceed further. Now after POC there are so many other things which will go through, but this is the first step which a sales engineer can do this. Now sales engineer will not configure this device. Basically a technical person will be there who will be deploying this, okay, and if sales engineer is a technical enough, he can also do that particularly, okay. So this is the need of, this is just an scenario one that I'm talking about. There are so many other scenario wherein you can use tap interface, okay. Now there are two things which I wanted to tell you. Let's say E1/1 is configured as tap interface. Now if you want the Ethernet 1/2 to be configured as layer 3 interface, yes, you can do it. There is no problem at all, okay. So if you are thinking in that particular way that if I configure a interface as a tap interface, I cannot configure other interface as other type, you can configure, there is no problem, okay. For now, the use case of the tap interface is basically listen the traffic which is going through from one switch port 1 to switch port 2, okay. I'll show you how to configure a span port in the switch, in the Cisco switches. I'll show you and we'll do in the practical. So let's jump into the practical and see how it is configured and how can we perform this, okay. So friends, let's move on to the lab and we'll see how we can configure it and we'll explain with the help of lab. Once we complete the lab, I'll explain you how the logs are basically getting sent from the switch to Palo Alto devices, okay. So let's move on to the lab. This is our lab. Yesterday I've showed you how to create a folder, how to create a lab, the same lab, okay. So I will add a node first, which is Palo Alto firewall, okay. So I'll make it as 10. I'll save it. So I've created Palo Alto here, okay. And as this Palo Alto firewall will be listening to it, so I'll be creating a Windows device, okay, and it will act like this. And after that I will be putting a switch over here. So this is our switch and I'll save this, and the switch is basically connected to our cloud 0, right. So here we have, as I told you yesterday, that cloud 0 is what it is, the internet, which is basically it's a VMware and VMware is connected to internet, right. So I'll change the icon of this. Let's say I'll just move it to globe so that it looks like internet, So I'll just connect this and this one as well. And also we are going to connect this as well. Now to access the Palo Alto, okay, either we can connect to the same network, okay, or else we will be taking another node of it. So I'll just take Windows here, Windows machine, and I'll be connecting to management interface. So where is the management interface? Here, and we are going to save it. So now I'll just start all the devices. Meanwhile, I'll just stop the video. Once the device starts, I'll start the video again, okay? So friends, the devices are started now. Let's understand the topology. So this is our management port through Palo Alto Firewall. And from this PC, we are going to manage the Palo Alto Firewall, like configuring the Palo Alto Firewall. This interface we will be configuring as a tab, okay? And this is our test PC. We'll be initiating the traffic towards internet so that the mirror port will send a copy of traffic, and as this interface is configured as a tab, he'll be listening to the traffic and we'll open the logs and we'll see the traffic should be reachable or should be visible into Palo Alto dashboard, not dashboard, in the monitoring tab, okay? We'll show you. So let's get into the Palo Alto GUI, guys. So let's open this PC, guys. So first of all, we'll open this PC, okay? And before that, we have to configure the IP address over here. So let me configure the Palo Alto. So admin and the old password, which is admin again, and we'll put some complex password over here, guys. Okay, so once we configure the change, we have to go to config mode, set device config, system type static. Why? Because it is configured in the DHCP mode, so we have to make it static, then only we can assign an IP address. So IP address, it is 192.168.10.50 and 255.255. okay, we have to type netmask 255.255.255.0 and we'll do a commit. So while it is getting commit, we'll go to the PC and we'll configure the same range of IP address over here as well. So we'll go to the adapter option, we'll open it, properties, and then we'll go to IPv4 and we'll configure it is 192.168.10.10, and this is directly connected, so we don't need any kind of default gateway, guys. And let's open Firefox, or else I'll do one thing so that it should be visible for you guys. I'll just increase that resolution. So I'll just increase it to this thing, keep the changes. It should be visible for you guys now. So committed is successful. Now we'll go to this PC and we'll close this and we'll try to access our Palo Alto, which is 192. It is 192.168. okay, 10.50. My mistake. HTTPS 192.168.10.50. yeah, we got the option accept and continue, and we will put the username password here. So once we put the username password, we should expect that it should log in. So now the page is loading for you guys. Okay. Now here one more thing, just wanted to let you know about it, that it's a VMware network here, and in this VMware network we have DHCP enabled over here. So this PC will be getting a DHCP IP address, as this is a switch, so switch will not block any traffic for this. So he will get the IP address, okay, from there, and he should have internet connectivity as well. So once we configure the Palo Alto and the switch, we'll go there and we'll try to configure that as well. So let's open this. Now we have got the GUI of Palo Alto, as you can see guys. Okay, so as we have to change in the interface side, so we have to go to network. Okay, and as you can see, this is the interface. Okay, we have to basically go to interface 1 because we are going to use the interface 1. Okay, that is the reason. And we want to configure this interface type as tab type. Okay, and the security zone that you can see. Now you have two options to configure zones. You can do it from interface level, as well as you can go to this zone, as you can see here option, you can go and configure it. So I'm just configuring as interface. Okay, I'll click OK, and after that if you go to advanced option, you have only option for link speed and link duplex and link state, down, up, whatever it is. So this is the option that you have, and the tab is, we are not assigning any IP address to the tab, right? So that is the reason we don't have much options to configure those, or else what I've showed is through this interface. If you want, you can go to zone and you can basically configure this through here as well. Now for an example, if you configure this interface as a different type interface, for an example, let's say I configure this interface as virtual wire. Now if I try to find that zone, I'll not get that zone, because tab zone will be, you will get an option of tab zone once this interface type is zone tab. So if I have a tab, then only I'll be able to see that particular tab interface option, otherwise I'll not be able to see. Okay, now as I have not covered the policy part, so I'll just configure in a very broader way a simple policy that I need to configure. I'll tell you why we are configuring this. So this will be tab interface, destination also will be tab interface, and we are good. Okay, and let's commit this. So what we did, we created the zone, we have created we have added that particular zone into the interface, and then we have created the policy. That's all, 3 steps, right? So while it is getting commit, let's go to the switch and we'll configure the port mirroring over there. So we'll go to the switch guys, let's go to the switch. Okay, and then we'll go to the enable mode and we'll go to the configuration mode. Now we need to just make sure that for which interface to be monitor and which interface I need to send those copy of the traffic. Okay, so we'll monitor session, and here we have to put the number. Okay, so number 1, I can put it from 1 to 66, whatever number I want. So I'm just putting number 1. Okay, and after that, here you have to define the source interface. So source, and here you can define VLAN or interface. There are some other options are also there in the span ports, but I'm just considering on a very simple way configuration. So interface G0 by 0, okay, and the source will be, meaning that I am monitoring this interface, whatever the traffic that is coming from this side or from outside, I am monitoring this interface, okay, or this port. And after that, my destination, where I have to send the copy. So I have to send the copy to interface G0 by 2. So now I have configured the source interface as G0 by 0 and destination interface as G0 by 2. Okay. Now I have few options available in the source zone. I can do only the receiving traffic, or I can do only transmitting traffic. If you are not selecting any option, it will do both. So I have not selected any option over here. I have not selected any option. So it will be by default both. So whatever it is receiving or transmitting, all the traffic will be get copied and sent to G0 by 2. Okay. So I'll just exit it. I'll just write it. So the configuration at the switch label. So session 1. So session, I guess, show monitor session 1. Okay. So as you can see, the source port is both, means transmit and receive both G0 by 2, and destination, as you can see, 0 by 2. Okay. So this is what we have done now. So friends, I have already done the configuration in Palo Alto. I have done the configuration on the switch side as well. Now let's move on to this PC. Okay. And we'll try to access the internet. As we can see, the internet access is there. We'll go and try to check the IP config. We have the default gateways and all, right? He has got the IP address from DHCP. Okay. So let's try to access all the website which is there. So friends, as you can see that internet is working over here, and we have initiated some of the traffic going to some of the websites. Now we have to go to the Palo Alto GUI. As we are here, we have to go to monitor. Okay. Traffic log will not be visible for us because we don't have license. I'll show you once we have the license as well. So here you can see the traffics are getting captured. It is a web browser, Twitter based, Twitter, as you can see, Facebook, MS update, DNS. So as you can see guys, that it has captured all the traffic, right? So let me enlarge this so that you guys can see. So I'll just move it around so that you can see what is here. Now there is no rule, there is nothing. Okay. There is only one rule, which is basically for capturing the traffic. It is not the, it doesn't mean that through this it is capturing the traffic, because whenever he creates a log, there should be a reference of a security policy, right? That is the reason we are creating this particular security policy. Otherwise there is no use of it, because as tap interface is in listening mode, he's listening, he's basically collecting the logs. Now he needs to reference it from which zone to which zone, or which rule it is through which he needs to reference it. That is the reason we are creating this particular rule. Okay, as you can see, all are tap, and here applications is also getting identified. So by seeing all this, you can understand, by capturing the traffic, it can understand that the users are going to Facebook or users are going to Twitter. What is the capability of this device? Once you put between the user machine and the internet, he can basically block all those traffics, right? So this is how the tap interface works. And this is what I wanted to cover in this video, which I have already covered. So if you have get to know something new, and if you have faced some issues related to tab, or if you have any scenario like that, please do comment in the comment box. Or I'll also highly encourage you to please like this video so that it will reach to maximum users. Okay. And also, if you have any suggestion for me, you can put it on the comment, or you can send me an email, or you can put me on chat on Instagram or Facebook. My networking or social networking handles are mentioned in the about section. You can go and you can find it over there. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. Thank you. I'll see you in the next.